This is going to be a review on the 3.75 inch Marvel Comics Spider-Man and Shocker 2-pack. And if you want to see what the text on the back says, you could take a look or pause it over here. And can open this up and continue the review. This is the Spider-Man Shocker comic book looks for the character 2-pack. And out of the package, I gotta say, right away I could tell this is one of the best Spider-Man Hasbro figures that they have made in the 3.75 inch line in years. It is a fantastic Spider-Man at this scale. And I'm not sure exactly which parts they reused or if they did a mold reuse from years ago in the Marvel Universe line. But whatever parts we used or made new, I'm not sure exactly. But this is a fantastic action figure. And I'm surprised it's such top quality at this scale for the line. And I'll get to Shocker in a moment. It's also good, but this is fantastic. And I'm really surprised in terms of the 2-pack that they made what they produced this good of a Spider-Man figure at this scale. Because it's well sculpted and well articulated. But before we get there, let's try to look at the details. The head sculpt has the big eye McFarlane type look to it, but they did a good job on it. You could see it's sculpting detail, it's not just painted on. And the webbing is painted, but the eyes, they sculpt it. The spider symbol here is painted, it's small. You got one on the back here, painted on. This is the spider web shooting pose. This is a closed fist. It's the classic look, the classic costume, but they got all the details right, Hasbro. Here's the bottom. It is about 4.5 inches tall. As you can tell, the sculpting looks really good, but it's the articulation that really stands out as well. Look at this, you got a ball jointed head, good range, up, down, to the sides. You got a ball jointed shoulder area, up, down, in, out. They gave it swivel biceps and one point of articulation at the elbow. You can't spin the wrist, but there's no in or out. You could only spin it, and they don't have any swap out parts, so you're stuck with the hand and the web shooting pose. The upper torso, not too much up or down, but side to side, and waist articulation. The hips, ball joint, in, out, up, down, swivel thighs, double articulation at the knees, plus calf articulation, and ankles, a pivot, up, down, and to the sides. This is like, it reminds me of the Marvel Universe Year 2, where they had a lot of high quality articulation. Maybe Year 2 or Year 3 the line, because it's really highly articulated, fantastic sculpt. Really well done, surprisingly, by Hasbro. And Shocker, this is a nice figure, but not as articulated as this one, but on its own right, nicely done. Scale-wise, it looks a little, this looks a little bigger than Shocker, surprisingly. It is about 4.5 inches tall. Shocker had a figure in the Marvel Universe, I think very early on, but it was very hard to get and very expensive, and they never made it since. So to finally get a Shocker in my collection, it's a really great deal. He is a classic Spider-Man villain with his powers of his shock gauntlets over here. It's kind of weird. He has a Thunderbolts symbol here sculpted on. He was a member of the Thunderbolts, but he's mostly remembered also as the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, which is a team book of villains. So he also wore his costume there. So let's look at the costume detailing first. He has a full mask. You can see the whites of the eyes here. This is painted on here. You can see the yellow has lines. Try to show details. And let's look at the gauntlets, his power source. It's a closed fist. And you can see they did some sculpting here for the effects. But the rest of the sculpt is pretty basic. It's just really painted on, costume detailing wise. And let's take a look at the articulation. The head can go down a bit, not too much up, but side to side, okay. Ball jointed at the shoulder area, in, out, up, down. One point at the elbow, and you can't spin it. Nothing at the wrist area, so if you want to pose it really, just gotta pose it by the elbows. Nothing here and nothing here, but by the hips, side to side, up and down. But again, nothing here, but double knee articulation. And the feet have a pivot up, down to the sides. In a way, you could tell that this is more of a throwback to the early Marvel Universe in articulation. And this is like how they make the figures now. But both together, to get it, I think it's a really fantastic deal. And I'm going to give my final thoughts about it in a moment. So overall, what do I think of this 3.75 inch Spider-Man comic book version and Shocker 2-pack? I think it is a fantastic set. This is one of the best Spider-Man figures at this scale. I don't know if it's which parts have been reused or what mold they used in the past, possibly for it. But I'm telling you, this is one of the best versions that Hasbro has made in this scale for the classic look of the character. It's that well made of a figure and high quality and a definite keeper for this scale line. And Shocker, they made one previous attempt and it was hard to find and expensive. And Shocker is in his modern costume. He's been in the Thunderbolts, I think. He's been in the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. It's his comic look. And for this set, you get two great figures. well made, high quality. The Spidey's a keeper, the Shocker as well, because he's a long-term Spidey villain. And you really can't go wrong with this set. And so I definitely would highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later.